everyone for joining us today. I'm Megan from Softwell, if you haven't met me in person before. And on the call with me today, I have Kenny Chung, who is our technical trainer and specialist, and also Jordan, who has just joined us during lockdown, so Auckland's still in lockdown. And Jordan's been with us, this is his 6th week. He's joined in a technical specialist role, so he's starting to learn all about VoIP solutions as well as other brands that Soft Solutions represents. So the purpose of today's webinar is to give everybody a really quick overview of version 18 and the resources available. So I'll just let Kenny and Jordan say a quick hi, and then we'll get cracking through the slide deck.
Well, thanks, Megan. Yeah, hey everyone. Hope everyone who is in lockdown like us is, I don't know, keeping sane, and everyone who isn't in lockdown, you know, just enjoy your freedom day. Just looking through the attendees list, it's good to see some names. So you know, I do, you know, I have trained a few of you already, like some of the guys at Citywide Tech. So shout out to you guys. Hello again, Ralph. Good to see you as well. Oh, good to see you're on. But yeah, looking forward to coming out of this lockdown and hopefully being able to catch up with everyone soon. I'll pass it on to Jordan just to say a few words.
Cool, thanks Kenny. Hey guys, I'm Jordan. Welcome to everyone that's joined. Again, yeah, I'm the new newbie, the new technical specialist. I'll be working alongside Megan and Kenny just to provide support for 3CX. So yeah, pass that back on to Megan. Thanks guys.
Awesome guys, thanks for that. So we will get cracking through the slide deck, and we will finish up with a Q&A. So just a quick wrap of what we're going to look at today. We're really preaching to the converted a little bit here, but just the why of VoIP solution and why 3CX. We do have a few new partners on the call today. And then looking at the key new features in version 18, what update 1 has brought to the table, along with some things that are coming that are currently in beta. And then we'll wrap up with just looking at the price changes, trial licenses, and what's within each 3CX edition, and leave you with some links. This recording will be shared to you via email, and we're quite happy to supply the slide deck as well. We'll have some key resource links there for you as well, and we'll wrap with a Q&A, and we are expecting quite a few questions from everybody. So again, thanks for joining us today. And why would we be having a VoIP solution? As you all know that are 3CX partners, voice and video communication is still the central hub of all modern organisations. We need to be able to interact with our customers, and we need to do that as communication evolves in a very rapid way. There's lots of new ways to interact with our customers via online chat messaging, Facebook Messenger and more, particularly as we have this younger generation that have grown up with technology, not like I have, but they're used to texting and chatting rather than actually talking on the phone. So it's all about adapting to new skill sets. And as you know, 3CX brings all these technologies together into one easy solution, and we've all had to adapt and change as we've navigated this global pandemic. Auckland's I think we're in week 11 of lockdown now. And I know Hamilton and the Waikato are in lockdown as well. We're really hoping we get out of that soon. So in terms of 3CX, key things around 3CX are that it is that unified solution. You choose your edition, and there's no extra add-ons to that. You can scale very quickly and easily with your simultaneous calls. And because it's licensed on that simple simultaneous call model rather than a per user or per extension, it's very easy to be extremely cost effective. For new customers coming on board, it's a really simple learning curve because you can use a computer, so you can use 3CX. It's in a web browser for web client, or the new Windows desktop app for version 18, or the soft phone that we're all familiar with. It's also very flexible. So the most common today is that it is hosted in the cloud or in a local data centre here, generally in New Zealand. We still do have on-prem installs out there, and they still occur, of course, for different circumstances. It's available for Linux and Windows, and we're seeing more and more of our customers installing across Linux with 3CX. So version 18. The forefront for 3CX is always about customer communication and the customer experience. The management console has stayed the same apart from the new bits that are added to it. So it's easy to navigate and you're able to find what you're looking for. We do have an updated web client interface, which has taken a little bit of getting used to, and a new Windows desktop app, which is slowly replacing the soft phone app. And that looks very much like the web client, and I've got a screenshot on the next slide that I'll share with you. In terms of what was their focus, it was about performance and security. They wanted improved audio quality and the ability for, if there's an internet glitch and connections drop, for that reconnection to occur. They've also spent a lot of time strengthening that security, and they've had 3CX version 18 assessed by Qualsos Labs and Immunolabs. And you can see they got rated very highly, an A+ and an A rating, which is fantastic and good to be able to share with customers. If you have security questions, we do have some documentation that we can share with you. Some customers really want to know what that back-end security is. So happy to share that information with you, just reach out to us. And the mobile apps are always updating so that you never miss a call. And this is really important with version 18 and most of Auckland working from home, and other parts of the country have had to work from home this year as well, and the globe, of course. For our Linux customers, version 18 was just an inline upgrade. For Windows, of course, it is a complete install and restore backup from your previous edition. But that management console is very familiar to technicians. You don't need to recertify, which is important. So just having a quick look at the web client and the Windows desktop app, you can see they almost look identical, just that one's actually an app that's floating and one is within your Google Chrome browser or the browser that you prefer to use. There's been some renaming and that has taken time to get used to. So just little things like web meeting is now called video conferencing, and within both the apps, there's an option on there that says meet, which is for setting up that quick meeting when you just want to meet with somebody quickly. Of course, you can always schedule those ahead, as most people would do as well. So we are using it internally here at Soft Solutions just for a limited number of our team, because our upgrade was scheduled on the day that Auckland went into lockdown. One of my key tasks was to get our team updated and running with version 18. There's a new name on here that's called a number of people out, which is the panel. This is just the new name for the switchboard. So it's for popping out the queue manager, the wallboard, those types of things. So it doesn't take long to get used to. The thing that I have found the hardest, and this is just my personal thing, is that when you change status, it's always been in the top right-hand side of the web client and the soft phone. In the new version, it's on the left-hand side. So every time I go to the right, and then I have to remember to come back to the left. So that's just a tip for new players there. Hopefully, a lot of you have set up your version 18 for your inside NFR license to get familiar with it so that you can then confidently upgrade your customers. Another key thing was the much tighter integration with Microsoft 365. And this is the piece that I guess 3CX have been making the most noise about. As you'd recall, in version 16, the standard edition had no Microsoft 365 integration. This now has limited integration in version 18, which has really been able to use the syncing of user accounts from your Active Directory. It also has the ability to enable single sign-on. And that is because most customers are now using some form of Microsoft 365, and particularly smaller customers where the standard edition may be all that they require. With the professional edition, there's more integration and more with what you're familiar with version 16. So that's being able to have your personal contacts and shared mailbox contacts are synced in there. There's the ability to change the status based on your calendar appointments, so that you're not going to get calls while you're in a scheduled meeting. And as before, it does require a Microsoft 365 account, either the Business Basic Standard or Premium, or as we know, the S3, E3 and E5 licenses. With the Enterprise Edition, and that's what the screenshot we've got here on the screen is, this brings the Microsoft Teams integration. Now, this is something people asked for when version 16 launched almost two and a half years ago. And in version 18 update 1, this has become live. It was in beta in the first release. And it allows users to be able to call 3CX users from Teams and vice versa, or make those outbound calls. You do require a E5 subscription or a Microsoft Teams plus Microsoft Phone system add-on for those users that want to use this functionality. Not all users within an organization will want to use this functionality. This is something that 3CX have worked really hard on with Microsoft and worked collaboratively with them, and you'll find that things are constantly getting tweaked and updated. So update 1 has also just gone live, and one of the reasons we held back this webinar to now is that we knew there were some key features here that we really wanted to be able to share. So the most key is that the Windows installer is now final and available. It was Linux only at initial launch. There is improved Microsoft Teams integration, so there's more tweaking, as I said, happening all the time. They've added things like customizable hotkeys in the desktop app for easy shortcuts. That makes life really simple for working with that desktop app as you become familiar with it. And they've also added integration for the Yealink WH6X headset. So there's 4 headsets within this range. They are all Microsoft Teams certified. They're also now certified to work with 3CX version 18 update 1, and that is across both the web client and the Windows desktop app. Means all the buttons on the side of the headset are working. And we're actually working on a special NFR offer at the moment and a pricing offer on these units to be able to offer through November. And I expect to have more information in the next couple of days and send that out via email to share with you all. We're seeing great success with these headsets. They fit a really good price category, as well as now being natively supported in version 18 update 1. So really happy about that. What else is coming? So we've got things in beta status, and these are key pieces that need to be considered when upgrading existing 3CX customers that are used to working with 3CX. So when version 16 launched, we suddenly lost the click to call feature. The same thing occurred with version 18 until they could get the Chrome and Edge browser extensions reconfigured. That is now in beta, which means that click to call is back for version 18. And if, like me, you use click to call with your CRM integration all the time, it's a tool that you really miss if you don't have it available to you. The iOS and Android apps are constantly going under improvements with added functionality. They are really tuning those into a utility that you can do everything with, including your chat and your web meetings. In the latest betas that are out there at the moment, on the iOS, with chat, there's easy management to be able to call phone numbers that are shared with you via a chat, those types of things, and that's in test flight. Android, they've worked really hard, and this is also in the iOS, to improve the compression of images for sharing via chat and Facebook Messenger, so that those work really, really well. With the latest Android app, it is notable that Android 7.1 and below will no longer be supported. Obviously, that's quite old technology now, and 3CX have made that decision. So things to think about before upgrading customers to version 18 is, do they currently have version 16 and use the click to call? And if so, it is advisable to wait for that just to come out of beta, and it won't be too far away. We're expecting it very, very soon. So just a quick rundown of what's in each edition. This is probably the most common question that we get all the time. So if you think about the standard edition is the free edition as we refer to it, but there are paying customers on standard. They need more simultaneous calls. It is very basic PBX functionality, but for small customers, that may be all they need. The change from version 16 to version 18 is that the free edition is only a 4 simultaneous call license, not the 8 simultaneous call that we had in version 16. And that is actually an answer to the channel community. Those that have been with 3CX for a long time will remember that at version 15.5, we had a free 4 simultaneous call license. Then it bumped up to 8 in version 16, and it's been taken back down to 4 in version 18. So that opens up more customers available to you that just need standard but might need that 8 simultaneous call license. They're also limited to 25 video conference participants at any one time. They can have multiple conferences running, but a total of 25 participants. And then, as I discussed earlier, it has that very limited but basic Microsoft 365 integration now as well. When you jump up to the professional edition, which is the most common edition that we sell, the video conference bumps up to 100, so that's more opportunities for people to have multiple conferences going on at one time. Plus, there's a dial-in option, so people can dial into a video conference and listen to it. Then you start adding things like the call queues and the call recording and the call reporting, which is obviously very important for an organisation that wants to be able to monitor the effectiveness of their staff. We bring in things like CRM integration, hotel integration, the ability to use the live chat and elevate that to a phone call from your website. Hot desking, hot topic these days because people have downsized their premises, so you need to be able to hot desk. That's available from the professional. And as I said earlier, with Microsoft 365, you add that extra functionality into the professional edition that you're familiar with in version 16. When we jump up to the enterprise edition, there's some key added functionality that is only important to the customers that require it. So one of those things is 250 video conferencing participants with dial-in. So for larger organisations, you had 10 calls running with 12 or 14 people on it. You started to get up to those levels. There's more options for your granular call recording. So this is allowing you to give agents or extensions the option to start and stop recordings rather than just blanket options that are available in the professional edition. It brings in skill-based routing, which was a new feature in version 16 and hotly anticipated and has been used a lot. This is the ability to grade your agents, which helps with the routing of your calls. So that can be used in a small organisation that has a queue, and you can specify how that's going to work. And we see that feature used a lot by customers. A well-known feature from enterprise is the failover, which is our active-passive failover. And there is some advanced CRM integration if you're going to have custom integration done by one of the developers around the globe. There's only a couple of them that work very closely with 3CX. And if that's something you need to talk about, you can reach out to us. Then obviously the key additional feature in version 18 update 1 is the Microsoft Teams integration. So that is only available in enterprise. And we're going to cover off the price decreases shortly, which makes that very affordable for existing customers that may be on professional. So just talking about those pricing changes. So the pricing changes occurred in the middle of the month. And like you, we had 24 hours notice. And they reduced the licensing across the annual subscriptions. Basically, what customers were paying for a professional subscription, they can now pay the same for an enterprise subscription, and obviously professional has dropped down. Another key change, and this has been happening for, I guess, over 3 years now, where 3CX have been encouraging partners to move from the older perpetual license model to the annual subscription. And the perpetual maintenance is now the same price as an annual subscription. So it's a really good incentive for people to do that trade-in. The 1-year free trade-in is still available and valid. Unfortunately, when you trade in, that's a zero value transaction, so it doesn't count towards your partner status. So we do say to sort of scale those over a period of time or over years to keep your partner status current as well. We already discussed that the free license is now that 4 simultaneous call, but in the first year, the customer, now everybody has a login to the portal, so they can have a customer login, you have your partner login, and we have a distributor login, and it's all to the same portal, but we see different things. If you log in as your customer or have your customer login, they are able to upgrade their license to a pro or enterprise license free for 1 year at 4 simultaneous call license only. When it comes to expiring and renewing, it will only renew as a free standard edition, but it does give you that opportunity to be able to sell them more enhanced features for your customers. With the trial licenses, we've covered off previously, but just a recap, best practice is to deploy a trial license from within your partner portal. This way they are linked to you, and you must use your customer's details when setting up that trial, or 3CX has the ability to wipe that trial from you. You can't put in your company name. Then you have a couple of options with that trial. You can go down the upgrade path that we just talked about with the 4 simultaneous calls, or if you've got a larger opportunity, you may want to use what's called the POC, or the proof of concept. This is done from within your partner portal, where you can upgrade that license to a professional or enterprise license with the required simultaneous call count that you have, but it only lasts for 60 days, not the 12-month free upgrade. But for larger customers that are going to need a professional or are going to need an enterprise, that is the better way to go, because you can do your whole proof of concept with their live license. And just remember, when you're moving that live license, that trial license to a live license, when you order that, just tell our team, our admin or our sales team, that you're upgrading a trial license, because we can make that key live. You don't need to swap out keys. You don't need to have a mess in your partner portal with the same customer there. Once that license is live, if you don't want any direct emails going to your customer, you can log in with the customer credentials, so not your partner credentials, the customer credentials, and you can update the email address and have it coming through to you so that you can manage and maintain that. And as with all licenses, we of course send out the automatic renewals 35 days ahead of time, so you've got plenty of time to communicate with your customer and make sure that you keep them up to date. So jumping into key resources. So from a 3CX perspective, you have your partner portal. There's actually a new beta available with some new features in there. Check it out. I had a quick look the other day. We have a dummy partner portal set up for Soft Solutions, and it seemed more intuitive to me, but I'd really value any feedback because I will share that with 3CX from your partner perspective. There is new version 18 marketing materials coming soon, and the marketing kit will be updated. Trial licenses are controlled from your partner portal. And then in terms of on the 3CX website, some of the most key resources that you will want to have a look at is the Microsoft 365 integration guide, the Microsoft Teams integration guide. These are step-by-step guides on best practice. CRM integrations, so those options are for CRMs that are maintained by 3CX or by the vendors themselves, and there's individual guides to step through to, or there's a DIY integration and a full guide to work through that. Other things that are really useful on the 3CX website, and we've shared these as well, and I'll talk about how we share those in a moment, is Stefan, 3CX's CEO, did a 3-part video series on Microsoft integration and best practice and setting it up right through to the Teams integration. Those videos are well worth a watch. There's an updated version 18 SBC, as you'd expect. We've shared those links out, and you can access those via the 3CX website as well. From a Soft Solutions perspective, we're always conscious of trying to get information to our partners as quickly as possible. We do have a closed community LinkedIn group, and this is where I post all updates. I'm always looking through the blogs and those types of things. So that's where I'll post everything first. And then we have our monthly newsletter wrap up, which kind of wraps around all that new information, what's happening, what you need to know, where you need to find it. We have quarterly technical trainings. At the moment, obviously, because we can't travel, we're having to do those online. We do much prefer the in-person format, and those that have attended a session with Kenny this year know that those are, preferable. But we do actually have a basic session coming up on Wednesday, the 8th of December. The bookings will be live in our weekly newsletter that's coming out later today. So that's for new people that you're bringing on board. Great way, rather than them doing self-study, to be instructor-led through that. And Kenny and Jordan will be running that session before the end of the year as well. I often get asked, how do you contact us? How do you find out more information from Soft Solutions? Sign up for our newsletters. If you're not receiving those, you can even just drop me an email and I can sign you up for those really quickly. You can also sign up from our website and from other newsletters that you receive. contact, if you're not sure who within our team you need to contact, use voip@softbowl.co.nz. That gets to all of us, and someone takes care of it as quickly as possible. We have our free first level support available via a ticketing system. That email address is voipsupport@softbowl.co.nz. It's available during office hours, and Noop, our senior VoIP engineer, is actually based out of Christchurch, and we have a 2-hour SLA, and we have backup for if Noop's out on site for any reason that he can't answer those queries, and we do everything in our power to help you, often going well above what we would call first level support. If you need quotes, pricing, hardware assistance, that type of thing, our sales team. So we have our 0800 number, of course, but you can use our sales@softbowl.co.nz to get either an official quote or just an indicative quote to understand how things fit together. That's what they'll help you with. Our admin team are our experts at getting your orders placed. We do use an API to place our orders with 3CX, and we do 2 or 3 runs a day on those because there are so many orders occurring, and then we have one of our staff members dedicated to delivering your orders. If your order is urgent for any reason whatsoever, give our admin team a call. They will be very accommodating to get that through for you, and they can usually turn it around within 10 minutes. So they will do that for you. We just ask that you use it for when it really is an emergency, and generally plan ahead for your renewals and your new licenses. And that brings us to the end of today's webinar. I'm going to ask Kenny to join me back on screen now as well. And we're welcome to open this up for questions and answers. You can pop those in through the chat there. I'm not sure if we've had any questions coming in, Kenny.
We have actually. So let's start from the top. So I've got Glenn asking, have they allowed Windows installs to be monitored via the 3CX customer portal as opposed to just Linux-based installs?
No, they haven't, and that is more to do with the way that Windows operates. So we have asked that question for quite some time, and the answer we've had around that is that due to the way that Windows works, they can't offer that functionality. They are seeing most of their customers globally deploying across Linux these days as well, which is why that functionality is fantastic in the partner portal.
Cool. Glenn's also asked, is there new certification for version 18?
So no, there's not. Your version 16 certifications are still current, as are people that did the 15.5 qualifications, because that's when the management console became as it is today. However, the slide decks have been updated with best practice around version 18. If you want a refresher, you can book into any of our sessions, and you just don't need to sit the exam at the end, or if you want to, you can resit the exam and challenge yourself. But in terms of best practice, just reviewing that data is very important. If you want to attend a session, please register. Spaces are limited, not so much online, but we do try and keep those sessions quite small as well, just so that we get the interaction between people. If you go online to 3CX's website, in their Academy section, you can even get the presenter notes, which gives you a lot of extra tips and tricks around it. So do check that out as well if you need to.
Thank you. Got a question, will TAPI be available in the new version 18 Windows app?
Sorry, what was the first part of that, Kenny? Which API?
API, I'm actually not sure on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, like this one we might take offline.
Yeah, maybe just drop me an email. So 3CX is never going to be open at the back end for just go for it APIs. There is the CRM custom integration API available, and then there are developers globally that can develop and do more than what we can do as a distributor or as you as a partner can do. But feel free to drop me either a direct email on Megan@Softbowl or to VoIP, and we'll take that offline and come back to you around that one.
Great. Will the new desktop app get all the features of the current one, i.e. multiple accounts, drag and drop, etc.?
So that's a question that we've asked of 3CX. One of the key reasons that people still use the soft phone that's been around forever, and I still love my soft phone, is because of the drag and drop functionality. This is more to do with the way that Windows works than anything. and I know they are working on it and looking at it. I guess it's also about the modern generation coming through, used to right-clicking and sending things to different places. So that's a bit of a watch the space one, unfortunately. But we have highlighted that in our monthly distributor reports, that it is something we get asked about quite a lot.
Awesome. Got a few more. We'll try to squeeze these in. I've got Ian asking for a bit more detail on the 365 license requirements. I think there was,
Sure.
yeah.
Okay, what we'll do, I'll get Kelly just to note that down, Ian, and I'll drop you an email. So in the Microsoft 365 integration guide, which we have got the link in here, and we can even share the slide deck with you. It's also in our recent VoIP newsletters, the last 2 or 3 newsletters have had those links in it. At the top of that, it actually highlights what license requirements are needed for integrating with standard, professional, or enterprise of 3CX. And that information is all there. The key thing is that if you're wanting the Teams integration, you need that E5 license or a Microsoft Teams plus phone calling plan option for the users that are using it. It doesn't need to be for all users. So, but we can take that offline.
Cool. Got a couple of questions around upgrading from version 16. Well, have you heard of any gotchas, Megan, from upgrading from version 16?
The biggest gotcha that we've heard of is for Linux users. So the studies that 3CX have done is that 92% of upgrades in Linux go through smoothly and straightforward. Part of that is because with version 18, it's taking it from Debian 9 in version 16 to Debian 10 in version 18. So 92% go through without any issues. The 8% that have the gotchas, usually one of 3 or 4 things, and 3CX have actually put out a really good blog on what those could be and how to get around those. We have shared that in our newsletter, but if you're not getting that, reach out and we can send you the details on that blog post, which links through to more information. The 3CX website is a little bit going down a black hole or a rabbit hole. You just keep following the data and you find the information, and it's all there. It's just knowing what you need to look for. So we're happy to help with that because I spend a lot of time looking for info there.
Oh, thanks, Megan. I've got Mark asking if there was any plan to introduce comfort messages when using queues.
Not at this stage. Again, that's a feature that's been requested for quite some time. And I'd have to go back to my notes to find out what the reasoning around that was. We have some customers that actually record their own messages and insert those throughout their recordings as well. But I know what you're talking about there, Mark, and it's something that at this point in time, we don't have any knowledge of that coming soon, but we do know there's a forum request for it. So it will get looked at, but it's just a matter of when. So I can't give you a time frame on that one.
Cool, awesome. And I think we've just got one last one to wrap it up. Is there, oh, I've got more coming in now. We'll try to squeeze these. Okay, so I got Jono asking if there's a app for Mac, rather like the Windows one, rather than just using Chrome extensions.
No, there's not. They stopped developing the Mac soft phone quite some time ago, just because of the way that Mac iOS evolved. So they went down the path of the web client, and the web client is the more modern way to use 3CX. It's just those of us that have done it for so long, I still reach for my soft phone, so I know that pain, even on Windows. So for the Mac, your real only options are to use, obviously if you've got an iPhone, you can use the app on your iPhone as well, or you need to use the web client in the browser.
Thank you. Yes, questions just keep flooding in. I feel like we'll just do one more. I think we'll do one more, and then we'll just take the rest offline. Yeah. Yeah,
absolutely. Because I'm very conscious that this is meant to be a bite-sized webinar. It's gone a little bit longer, but there's a lot of data to share. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll just grab this last question, and then we'll close it off.
Yep. Are there any plans to integrate SMS feature with a New Zealand provider?
So that comes down to the SIP providers here in New Zealand. There are active discussions happening between 3CX and them around that. At the moment, globally, there are only 5 SMS providers. Twilio is one that a lot of people have used for different things in New Zealand, so you can reach out to them. They do have New Zealand plans. You just have to work out the cost effectiveness of that, but that is something that is becoming a much asked for feature. People want to use it in all sorts of smart ways. Sometimes that uses custom integration as well.
Cool. Awesome. I think, yeah, we've gone a bit over time, so I think we'll just have to, oh, yeah, it's more coming. We'll take these questions, the rest of these questions offline. So the ones who have just, I guess, just asked more questions, we'll see it. We'll answer these by email.
Absolutely. So what we might do is we'll have automated emails coming out tomorrow, which will include a recording of this webinar. What I might do is, if I can quickly get hold of all those questions with Kenny, we might zoom through and do some quick answers to those, and actually send those out to everybody for those that attended and weren't able to attend but registered, so that they would get the recording. So we will come back to you on your questions, and we really value them, and we value your time for attending today. And apologise again that we've gone over time, but I think you hopefully got some good information out of it. So thank you everyone for joining us today. We really do appreciate it. And as always, we are here to help. Don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks, guys.
See you, everyone.